tifu by sending my kitchen knife to a professional knife grinder, by user LamazaresJ. My sister is a single mom, and several years back we were both looking for a new place to live at the same time, so we decided to share a house for some time. I had a really fun time with my nephew, who was 6 years old back then. His father did not care for him and was out of the picture, so I spent a lot of time with him, taught him how to ride a bike and everything. One day, he decided to make himself some lemon ice. He filled a plastic bag with lemon juice and water and put it in the freezer. A day later, I was sitting in the living room when I heard strange noises from the kitchen. I went to investigate and nearly got a heart attack. There was my nephew standing on a little stool. Before him, a chunk of ice the size of his head. In his right hand, he was swinging a meat hammer. In the left hand he had my razor-sharp and expensive Japanese kitchen knife, and he was merrily hammering away on the knife, using it as a chisel. I calmly asked him to stop, so as not to startle him while he was handling the dangerous knife. I asked him why he was using the knife as a chisel, and he told me. I thought to myself that ice is pretty hard, I will need the best damn tools I can get my hands on. Could not argue with that reasoning, and I could hardly be mad, since it was my fault for not storing the knife in a safe location. I was only glad he had not hurt himself. Unfortunately, the tip of the knife had already broken off. I told him not to use the knife without supervision and how dangerous it was and put it away where he could not reach it. Years have gone by, they have long moved out and live at their own place. Next year he will finish school. We still see each other often and he comes to visit his uncle. Every time I used the knife and saw the broken tip I was reminded of my nephew and the fun times we had when he was little, and I must have told the story of how the tip broke off dozens of times, every time someone was using this knife in my kitchen. A few weeks back, I saw an ad from a knife grinding company online, and I sent the knife in for what they call a great inspection. Polishing, reworking the handles, grinding breakouts out of the blade, and sharpening. Today I got it back, and they did a marvelous job. It looks like a new knife. Razor sharp, and the broken tip is gone. They completely reground the blade. Only at that moment did I realize that the knife was worth to me more with a broken tip. Now it is just a kitchen knife again, its history and the attached memories erased from the blade. Dr. Sent the kitchen knife my nephew had broken the tip off years ago to a knife grinder and only then realized the knife was much more valuable to me broken as it was, because of the memories attached to the damage. Tifu by letting a homeless man sleep in my spare room without asking my wife, by user Jape Gorgon. So I was driving home from a gig tonight around 11 p.m. and saw what I thought was a dead body on the side of the highway. I pulled over and walked back down the road in the dark to discover a homeless man lying on the shoulder. He was okay, just sore from a bung knee, cold and wet. I offered to give him a lift and he accepted. Chatting on the 40-mile drive back to my town I learned that he has prostate cancer. He informed me that his older brother had lost a recent battle with the same disease and that his wife had recently died of COVID. He was hitching to a town another 2 hours away to see his estranged 17-year-old son. We discussed his homeless life and tattoo career as well as hearing how other people had helped him out with a bed or train ticket. When we arrived in the small town I live in, we drove around for a while trying to find a shelter where he could sleep. As the reality set in, I knew there was nowhere I could take him. It's cold, wet, and he doesn't own a sleeping bag. Finally I say fuck it, you can stay at my house tonight. Only thing is, I didn't ask my wife first. She got up when she heard me talking in the basement, spare room is down there, and I explained the story but she isn't happy. I know in my heart I'm doing a good thing but I also know it's incredibly reckless and I'm really worried my wife won't forgive me. So now I'm sitting upstairs trying to stay awake all night so the homeless guy in my basement doesn't sneak upstairs to murder my family. Okay, here's the Update 1. Front page of Reddit. Oh, for the want of a throwaway account. Firstly, thank you to everyone that tore me a new asshole. Feeling thoroughly reamed. And thank you for the awards. To the anonymous Redditor who reached out to r/Reddit Care Resources, on my behalf, a heartfelt thank you to you too. My wife got up and apologized to me for some reason and started putting together a care package for him. Of course I told her that I'm the one that needs to apologize and that I'm a giant fucking idiot. As many of you have also stated, she can understand that my intentions were good but reckless. She is an avid Redditor and I suspected she would see this post so I told her about it. I was hoping some of the funnier comments would help lighten the mood. Mr. Peanut did the trick. Thank you u/Astaroth, but the comments targeting her really stung. The takeaway from this post isn't I did a good thing and now my wife is punishing me for it. Far from it. The fuck up is the damage I've done to her trust and feelings of personal safety and the emotional toll that it's taking on her. And let me just state, my wife is the best person in the world. She never gives me crap even when it's deserved. She's super supportive of me and has tolerated a lot of my dumb shit. To everyone calling her out for being heartless, politely go fuck yourself. I appreciate that you have my back, but that doesn't make her the villain in this story. Right now she's upset, scared, and feeling all manner of emotions. I took a lot of your advice to heart and I'm in the process of trying to mend everything, which so far has amounted to countless apologies and promises. Now on to morning. The spare room has 2 French doors that are pretty hard to pull open. As a result, Tim got up to use the bathroom, couldn't open the doors, assumed he was locked in and had a little accident just as I was opening them. So there was some urine, but it wasn't malicious as some feared. Got him in the shower and his clothes in the laundry. Gave him some spare clothes. Made him some coffee and breakfast, an English muffin with honey for those that asked. Chatted about his family and V8 muscle cars for a while. Names and stories were consistent, though I will admit some of you made me question the validity of his previous claims, which is clearly in conflict with my carefree, trusting nature. Booked him a one-way Greyhound ticket before driving him to the local DHS office to get a new food stamp card. His last one was stolen and the balance wiped clean. I could have said stolen in quotation marks, but I'm giving Tim the benefit of the doubt, 'cause you know, saint and all. Packed him up with non-perishable snacks, nuts, raisins etc., band-aids, vitamins, jacket, blanket and a newish backpack. It sounds generous, but it was mostly stuff I got for free, promoed not pilfered, from my old job and didn't need. Picked up some peanut butter espresso smoothies and headed to the bus stop. He had time to kill, plenty if you count the previous 10 hours, so I left him with $40, that I would have just spent on weed, so STFU, on a covered bench nearby and returned home to track the progress of the bus. Noticing it was delayed and I must admit, to make sure he was still there, I drove back to the bus stop just as the bus was pulling in behind me. He was already waiting with his gear at the stop as I pulled up and said a final farewell. So to the people that praised what I did, thank you, but I'm not an entirely trusting person. I still stayed up all night anxious and doubting my decision, still haven't slept or eaten anything solid. I still made sure to keep valuables on me or within view. I even double-checked that he got on the bus. But where was all this suspicion and caution when you made the decision to let him stay? I hear you ask. I had those fears and suspicions. I also had a human sitting in my car at midnight with nothing warm and nowhere to sleep, and so I made a pained but poorly rushed decision that hopefully won't return to bite me in the ass. As far as I can tell, nothing was stolen. TLDR, edit *, picked up a homeless person and let him stay in my home without consulting my wife first or considering her safety, putting her in potential danger and irreparably risking my marriage in the process. TIFU by finding out I've been sleeping with my second cousin, by user 3flex_MMA. So I too am just got out of my first ever relationship, a 6-year one. I live in London and so does my ex, so being there with her was making the whole getting over her part really difficult. I just wanted to get away, so I thought to myself, I need a nice long holiday, for 2 days, to be around friends, family and also live that single fuckboy-esque life a bit. So I went on holiday to Zambia, my home country. Now a week before doing so, I changed my location on all the dating apps to prepare myself and line some dates up. Anyway, so I get to Zambia, I'm happy to be home, see old friends and family for a couple days, then I started doing work. It was fun for about a week, then quickly become more of a chore than anything. Around this time I match with a cute mixed girl, I'm mixed too. The chat is flowing. From the day we matched, we're sending paragraphs to each other talking about any and everything. Because this actually doesn't feel like a chore, I'm just enjoying the deep long convos. During these convos, we talk about our families to see if we know of each other. Cause Lusaka, the capital, is really small, everyone knows of everyone here. But as I'm here staying with my dad and use his family name, she's never heard of him. She goes by her stepfather's surname as she was adopted at 2yo. We don't know of each other. I asked my dad if he's heard of her surname, and he has. Says they are a good family and the father is a good man. Around day 3 she drunkenly invites me over. It was lovely, more deep convos, making out. More deep convos etc. She's on her period so nothing further happens. I spend the night though, we really got to know each other. I go home, 3 days later I visit again and do the deed. At this point I feel like we're in a mini relationship. We're texting, calling, and FaceTiming every day. After about a week of this I think to myself, though this is lovely and she's relationship material. There already is an expiry date on this. When I leave, I don't believe in long distance, plus I did come here to enjoy myself and I've just gotten out of a 6-year one. At this point we were so close I felt like I was cheating talking to other girls. So I explained my stance, where I'm at mentally and what I want to do. She understood, but her stance was she wanted to be safe STD-wise, and me doing what I wanted meant the end of anything physical with her. I understood and we ended things physically. We still continued to talk every day, still as close as we ever were. We fantasized about one day getting into a relationship together when I do eventually move back here in 2 years. So this morning I ask her about her day. How's the farm? I know from yesterday's chat she's visiting her parents who run a farm. She tells me, it's good. I just had a long conversation with my mum though. Me, cool, what about her, us? Okay. What did you tell her? It's more about what she told me. TF? I'm lost lol. What did she say? Ugh. It's just sad. So sad. I don't even what to tell you. I'm confused. What are you on about? Promise you won't hate me. I could never. You're a lovely person. Did you do something though? What is going on? You promise. It now costs. You're freaking me out. Just tell me, Jasmine. We might be related. I doubt it though, because lots of people have your mother's surname. What? And this from your dad? What's his name? I'll ask my mum. She then sends his name. I forward to my mum who's in London asking if she knows this person. She does. It's her first cousin, FC. I feel disgusted. I'm upset, angry. Edit. The anger here came from me at the time, thinking my dad should have known. Considering I told him who she was and he knew the stepfather. My stomach was having this weird tingly feeling and my dick wanted to disappear inside my body. I asked my dad how he couldn't know that the girl I was seeing is FC's daughter. He says, oh shit. He knew he dated the mother but didn't know they had kids, because she went by the other name. He thought the stepdad was the real father. My dad's also lived between 3 countries for the past 12 years. Anyway. I'm disgusted by the whole situation. She's trying to justify it in a way, saying that they aren't really her family anyway, they abandoned her, treated her mum like shit. He father was abusive, she hasn't spoken to him in 15 years. I've told her all this doesn't matter. You can denounce them all you want, but at the end of the day, your blood is what it is. I fly out this Saturday and she's asked me to come talk about this situation face to face before I go. We'll see how that goes. TLDR, matched with a girl on a dating app, we got along. We got it on. We found out we're second cousins. Sweet home Alabama. Edit. I've read responses and apparently genetically I'm all good. People who are saying it isn't a big deal though, I doubt they are close to their second cousins. I've grown up raising some, looking up to others and going to school with some. I have a huge family, so the relation to a second cousin is real to me. I couldn't imagine doing what we did with the ones I'm close to. Finding out she is one, I know look at her the same, so it's a no-no for me. TIFU by making a coffee at a family gathering, by user Loria Bunny. This literally happened this morning and I'm cringing. So, it's my BF's birthday today and his family always visit for his birthday. I stayed up late last night prepping for his birthday and no balloons, banners, and presents. Anyway, his family arrived in the morning and so I woke up early to clean. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep and don't have time to chill. His family arrived and I offer them a cup of tea or coffee and everyone says yes. While making the tea I think I better make myself a cup of coffee because I'm so tired. I grab a random mug, not even thinking about it because it's just a mug. Anyway, fast forward to a couple of minutes later when I'm standing in front of everyone in the living room with my cup of coffee in hand. As I'm talking I notice everyone is super quiet and just staring and not saying anything. I thought maybe I'd said something but I couldn't think of what I may have said that offended them. It wasn't until my fiancé was doing some weird eye contact with me and then to the cup that I only then realized that I'd been standing talking to my partner's whole family with a mug in my hand that says nobody knows I love anal peach. https://imgur.com/a/61rzes, the mug. I was mortified. I just stood there and in a panic said that I didn't realize what mug I was holding and that it's just a mug I like to drink coffee from because my partner bought it for me. At this point everyone's awkwardly looking at the ground and the walls. My Mill is just staring at my fiancé. I went into the kitchen, ditched the mug and stood there for a good 5 minutes asking why me? TLDR, I was super tired and made myself a coffee in a super inappropriate mug and drank it in front of my fiancé's family. TIFU by realizing I had a crush on my cousin, by user 9 May 2022 throwaway. Bit of context, my mother, for reasons I don't judge her for or seek to learn, never found a partner but wanted to have a child. So she asked a friend of hers if he would be willing to help her out. Long story short, he is married to another woman but helped my mom get pregnant, and up to this day has not told his wife to my knowledge. Again, judging their actions is something I don't do and is not the point of this story. I know him and we've discussed this in private, but only our immediate family knows about the situation. Now recently I came to know a woman through mutual friends who was very pretty and kind, and we have had good conversations over the past few weeks. I don't really think she has any feelings so far as I can tell, but I definitely developed a crush quickly and always enjoy her company. You probably already know where this is leading. Lo and behold, my mom sees us somewhere in town and later notes, so, that's the daughter of my father's name's sister, did you know that? My eyes widened in shock, but I just ended up laughing because it is kind of funny, the fact that I can't tell her for the rest of my life that we're family yet I will always know. I am glad that it never got to anything past a crush and I hope it never does, otherwise it might be a Back to the Future type of situation on hand. TLDR, my mother secretly got pregnant with me, by a married friend of hers. Fast forward a couple decades I found out the girl I recently had a crush on is actually my cousin.